Hello and welcome to Oko. In this video, we'll be harvesting a few of the vegetables I grow in my garden. Regular harvesting and pruning is important in a garden because it promotes more growth and extends the fruiting time of the plant. Before we jump into the harvest, a quick thank you to those of you in the comments from my garden tour video who let me know that this plant was called taro. It came in a mystery bag of dirt, and now it has its own pot. Let's start off with jalapenos. You want to cut the jalapeno as close to the stem as possible towards the base of the plant. You can harvest jalapenos once they're about 3 inches long. Here I am harvesting my scorpion pepper. Sometimes you have to be careful because you'll cut one that's not quite ready. As you can see on the bottom of this one, it's still a little bit green. The Trinidad scorpion has a particular shape to it, and it's one of the hottest peppers I grow in my garden. I try to make it a rule of thumb to use gloves whenever harvesting peppers, especially this pepper. Handling this pepper with bare hands can cause irritation. Next is my local pepper. I like to harvest this pepper once it's red, but you can also harvest it when it's purple. With this pepper, I like to blend it up and make relishes. The great thing about this pepper is that it's not too spicy, and it fruits abundantly. Another pepper used for its ornamental appeal is the pecking pepper. This pepper is really good in sautés, and they kind of just pop right off. It's really satisfying picking them. You'll know when they're ready when they turn an orangey red. Peppers, like tomatoes, grow all seasons in my garden. These are Cascade cherry tomatoes. I tend to stick to smaller varieties in my garden because I find that they're easier to take care of. I try to stay on top of tomatoes and harvest them once they ripen, because if I let them stay on the branch too long, not only will they weigh down the actual plant, but they'll also attract different kinds of pests. While harvesting, don't forget to prune suckers. Suckers are branches of the tomato plant that are over 2 inches long and have no flower or look like they have any intention of fruiting. As I mentioned earlier, consistent harvesting also promotes more growth, thus more fruit. Sun exposure is what ripens tomatoes, so make sure to turn your pot every so often so that the green tomatoes can also ripen. You may remember from my first video I had little sproutlings of lettuce coming in from my wild lettuce that bolted. Once they were big enough to transplant, I put them in the seed starting tray and put this into my lettuce box. I enjoyed this method of transplanting because it kept my root systems organized and separated. It also kept the plant very close to the surface, allowing it to drain and not get weighed down by mud during watering. Next, I'll separate them into little seed trays so they can grow more defined root systems. I also like to give them more separation because baby lettuces tend to be very tender and break literally by being just too close to each other. Don't forget to water immediately after transplanting, especially with these kind of plants, because they will dry out quickly. I got this squirt bottle from Amazon, and it's great because I can just hit the roots without wetting the leaves too much. Don't be discouraged if your transplants look a little wilted. They tend to look wilted for about 2 days, but by the 3rd day, you'll see that they'll spring up and look nice and healthy. If you have any leaves that still haven't come up when the others have, go ahead and cut that. Cutting promotes new growth. I potted some of these lettuces separately so that I can give them away to my friends and family. Lettuce is a great vegetable to grow because it grows fast, produces often, and also reseeds itself. Once lettuce has about 3 or 4 rows of leaves, you can pluck out the outer leaves and make salads from them. Here's my lettuce box, and here's what it looked like about 2 weeks later. Give lettuce a little bit of spacing so they can bush out. The next vegetable on my harvest list is one that I already harvested, which is broccoli. Now I'm harvesting the side shoots. After you harvest the main head of broccoli, you can still eat the side shoots for a few weeks after. To see my broccoli being harvested, check out my channel for the video. Another nightshade I grow in my garden are eggplants. Tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants are all part of the nightshade family. This is a Japanese eggplant, so it is not as big as the regular black beauty that we're used to seeing. You want to harvest eggplants while the skin is still shiny. The last vegetable on this harvest tour are beets, which I grew in the shadier part of my balcony. A quick side note, you'll notice a little orange sticker on my arm. This is a mosquito repellent. I bought it on Amazon and I'll include the link below. I was actually surprised that it works so well. What I loved about growing beets is not only is the root edible, but so are its leaves, and they're actually very sweet and tender and make a great addition to summer salads. This is my first time growing beets, and I learned a lot of hard lessons, such as spacing. Without the proper spacing, the roots will never fully develop into the actual beet. And as much as I enjoyed having all these red stems sprouting in my garden, I didn't enjoy how little my yield was. Beets will kind of let you know they're ready because they'll begin to burgeon out of the ground and have these little heads that sprout up, and you can just lightly dig them out. Of all my beets, only 2 came out with a decent size, the big one and this medium one. When beets don't have proper spacing, they never really fully develop the beetroot, as you can see here. With all that I've learned, I'm definitely going to grow beets again. Here are the beets I harvested. Only 2 of them actually look pretty good. Growing beets left me with 2 emotions, disappointment at the smaller ones, yet some kind of weird sense of pride at the bigger ones. There's just something about those red stems. I just started more beet seeds, and hopefully with the right spacing, I'll get it right this time. Bunch of beets, who's this? Because beets are a root vegetable, after you're done harvesting, you want to wash off all the dirt. To keep the beet leaves fresh, set out a piece of paper towel, wash the leaves, and then lay them flat to dry. After they've dried, you can take another paper towel that's a little damp and put it right over all the leaves and store that in your fridge. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below or follow me on Instagram and send me a message. I also want to say a quick thank you to everyone who supported and subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it, and it really encourages me to continue to make more videos.